What I am about to tell you right now could be the actual difference between building wealth and watching your money simply evaporate right before your eyes. I do not care if you are a seasoned investor or someone who is just starting out today. This message absolutely applies to every single one of you. We are heading into a financial environment that is going to punish people who play it safe. And when I say punish, I mean absolutely destroy the purchasing power of anyone sitting on cash thinking they are being smart. They are not being smart at all. They are actually being foolish. Now, before I get into the specific details, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button immediately. Smash it, because the content I put out on this channel is specifically designed to make you money, to protect your wealth, and to give you the strategies that the wealthy use every single day. If you are not subscribed, you are missing out on information that could change your financial life. So do it now. And while you are at it, hit that like button and drop a comment below telling me what percentage of your portfolio is in cash right now. I want to know, because I guarantee some of you are making a massive mistake. Here is the reality. Cash is trash. I have been saying this for years, and it has never been more true than it is right now. You might think that having money sitting in your savings account making 2%, 3%, or maybe even 4% in some high-yield accounts means you are doing okay. You are not. You are losing money every single day. Inflation is eating away at your wealth like a silent killer. While you are sleeping at night thinking your cash is safe, it is actually losing value. The cost of everything, groceries, gas, housing, healthcare, is going up faster than the interest your bank is paying you. Let me break this down in terms that everyone can understand. If you have $100,000 sitting in cash and inflation is running at 5 or 6%, and trust me, it is higher than what the government tells you, you are losing $5,000 to $6,000 a year in purchasing power. That is real money vanishing into thin air. Your bank account might say $100,000, but in terms of what you can actually buy with that money, you are getting poorer every month. This is financial suicide, and I see people doing it all the time. You know what really kills me? People come up to me and they say, "Kevin, I am being cautious. I am waiting for the right opportunity. I do not want to take risks right now." And I look at them and I say, "You are taking the biggest risk of all. You are taking the guaranteed risk of losing money." Because that is exactly what holding cash is, a guaranteed loss. At least when you invest, you have the opportunity to grow your wealth. But sitting in cash, that is not being cautious. That is being ignorant. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. "Kevin, what about a recession? What about a market crash? Should I not have cash on the sidelines ready to deploy?" And here is my answer. Yes, you need liquidity. Every investor needs liquidity, but there is a massive difference between strategic liquidity and hoarding cash like you are preparing for the apocalypse. Strategic liquidity means having enough to cover emergencies and enough to take advantage of opportunities when they arise. I am talking about 3 to 6 months of expenses, maybe a little more if it helps you sleep at night. But beyond that, every extra dollar sitting in cash is a dollar that is not working for you. Let me tell you something about wealthy people. The really wealthy people. They do not hold cash. They hold assets. Assets that generate income. Assets that appreciate in value. Assets that work for them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real estate, stocks, bonds, businesses, commodities. These are the vehicles that build wealth. Cash is simply what you use to buy those vehicles. It is a tool, not a destination. If you are holding massive amounts of cash, you are using the tool wrong. Here is what is happening right now that should terrify anyone sitting on cash. Central banks around the world have printed more money in the last few years than at any point in human history. When you flood the system with money, what happens? The value of each individual dollar goes down. It is basic economics, supply and demand. Too much supply leads to lower value. Your cash is being diluted every single day by monetary policy that is completely out of your control. You cannot stop it. You cannot fight it. The only thing you can do is protect yourself by getting out of cash and into assets that hold their value, or better yet, increase in value. Think about it this way. If I told you I had an investment that guaranteed you would lose money, would you put your hard-earned savings into it? Of course not. But that is exactly what you are doing when you hold cash in this environment. You are choosing the guaranteed loser over potential winners. It makes no sense. None whatsoever. And yet I see smart people, educated people, and successful people making this mistake every single day. It drives me crazy because they are working against themselves. So let me tell you exactly what you should be doing instead. This is where we get into the actual strategy, the playbook that I use and that every smart investor uses to protect and grow their wealth. And I'm going to be very specific here because I do not believe in vague advice. I believe in actionable steps that you can implement today, right now, as soon as this video is over. First, let's talk about dividend-paying stocks. This is my bread and butter. This is where a significant portion of my own portfolio lives, and for good reason. When you own dividend-paying stocks, you own pieces of real businesses that generate real cash flow. And those businesses pay you every single quarter like clockwork. It is passive income. You wake up in the morning and money has been deposited into your account. That is the dream, is it not? That is what wealth looks like. Now, I am not talking about speculative garbage. I am not talking about some tech company that has never made a profit and probably never will. I am talking about boring, stable, and reliable companies, utilities, consumer staples, healthcare, and financial services. These are companies that have been paying dividends for decades, companies that increase their dividends year after year. These are cash flow machines. And in an inflationary environment, many of these companies can raise their prices, which means their profits go up, which means your dividends go up. Your cash sitting in the bank, it is not going up. It is going down in real terms. But a good dividend portfolio is keeping pace with inflation or beating it entirely. Let me give you some real numbers here because I love numbers. If you invest in a diversified portfolio of dividend aristocrats, companies that have increased their dividends for 25 consecutive years or more, you can easily get a yield of 3 to 4%. But here is the beautiful part. That is just the yield. The stock prices also appreciate over time. So you are getting your 3 to 4% in dividends plus capital appreciation. Over the long term, we are talking about total returns of 8, 10, or 12% annually. Compare that to your savings account giving you 3% while inflation runs at 5%. It is not even close. It is not even in the same universe. Now, the second thing you need to understand is bonds. I know. Bonds are boring. Everyone thinks bonds are only for old people, but let me tell you something. Bonds are having a moment right now. After years of low interest rates, we have seen rates spike. And when rates are high, bonds become attractive again. You can lock in yields of 5, 6, or even 7% on quality corporate bonds and government bonds. That is real income. That is guaranteed income. And unlike stocks, bonds have a specific maturity date. You know exactly when you are getting your principal back. This is about balance. You do not put everything in stocks and you do not put everything in bonds. You create a portfolio that generates income from multiple sources and gives you stability when markets get choppy. Here is what I do in my own portfolio. I ladder my bonds. That means I buy bonds with different maturity dates. Some maturing in 1 year, some in 3 years, some in 5 years, and some in 10 years. This way, I am always having bonds mature, and I can reinvest that money at whatever the current rates are. If rates go up, great. I will reinvest at higher rates. If rates go down, I am still holding bonds that I bought when rates were high. It is a strategy that smooths out the volatility and ensures I am always earning something. Your cash in the bank, it is just sitting there doing nothing, being eroded by inflation. The third pillar, and this is absolutely critical, is real estate. Now, I am not saying everyone needs to go out and buy a rental property, although if you can, you absolutely should. Real estate is one of the greatest wealth-building tools in human history. But if you cannot buy physical property, you can invest in real estate investment trusts, or REITs. These are companies that own and operate income-producing real estate, apartment buildings, office buildings, shopping centers, and warehouses. When you buy shares in a REIT, you are essentially becoming a landlord without having to deal with tenants or maintenance or any of that headache. And here is the key. REITs are required by law to pay out 90% of their taxable income as dividends. That means massive yields, often in the 5 to 7% range or higher. Plus, real estate tends to appreciate over time, and rents tend to go up with inflation. So you are getting income and you are getting inflation protection. It is a double win. I cannot stress enough how important real estate is in a portfolio, especially right now. We have a housing shortage in this country. Demand is through the roof and supply is limited. That is economics 101. When demand exceeds supply, prices go up. If you own real estate or REITs, you benefit from that. If you are sitting in cash, you are watching from the sidelines as property values and rents climb higher and higher, and you are getting none of that upside. It is painful to watch. Now let us talk about diversification because I know some of you are worried. Kevin, what if I put all my money into stocks and the market crashes? What if I buy bonds and interest rates change? What if real estate values drop? These are legitimate concerns, and the answer is diversification. You spread your risk across multiple asset classes. You do not put all your eggs in one basket. A properly diversified portfolio might be 50% stocks, 30% bonds, 20% real estate, or maybe it is 40-40-20. The exact percentages depend on your age, your risk tolerance, and your financial goals. But the point is, you are not concentrated in any one thing, and most importantly, you are not sitting in cash earning nothing while inflation destroys you. When you diversify properly, you are building a portfolio that can weather any storm. Markets crash, your bonds and real estate help cushion the blow. Interest rates spike, your dividend stocks and REITs adjust. Inflation runs hot, your real assets keep pace. This is how you protect wealth. This is how you build wealth, and this is exactly what you cannot do if you are sitting in cash paralyzed by fear or ignorance, or both. Let me tell you a story that illustrates this perfectly. Years ago, I met with an investor who had $3 million in cash. $3 million just sitting there in a savings account earning basically nothing. I asked him why. He said he was waiting for the perfect opportunity. He was waiting for the market to crash so he could buy stocks at a discount. And I looked at him and I said, "You are an idiot." And I mean that with respect, but you are making an idiotic decision. You know what happened? He waited and waited. Meanwhile, the market went up 20%, then 30%, then 40%. He missed all of that growth. And even when there were corrections, small pullbacks, he still did not buy because he was convinced an even bigger crash was coming. Fast forward to today, he is still sitting on cash. And that $3 million has the purchasing power of maybe $2 million in terms of what it was worth back then. He lost $1 million by doing nothing. By trying to be safe, he guaranteed his own failure. Do not be that person. Do not let fear or analysis paralysis destroy your financial future. The perfect time to invest is always now, not tomorrow, not next week, and not when the market pulls back 5%. Now, because time in the market beats timing the market every single time. I have been investing for decades now, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that nobody, and I mean nobody, can consistently predict market tops and bottoms. The people who build wealth are the people who stay invested, who keep putting money to work, and who understand that markets go up over time despite short-term volatility. Here is what I want you to do today. Right now, as soon as this video ends, I want you to look at your portfolio. Look at exactly how much cash you are holding. If it is more than 6 months of living expenses, you need to deploy that capital immediately. Open a brokerage account if you do not have one already. Start buying dividend-paying stocks. Buy a bond fund or individual bonds. Invest in a REIT or a real estate fund. Just get that money working for you. Every day you wait is a day you are losing money to inflation. Every week you sit on the sidelines is a week you are missing out on potential gains. This is not about being reckless. This is about being rational. This is about understanding basic economics and acting accordingly. And let me address the people who are going to say, "But Kevin, I am scared. The market feels high. The economy feels uncertain. I do not know what to do." First of all, the market always feels high to somebody. There is always a reason not to invest. There is always some crisis or concern or geopolitical event that makes people nervous. If you wait for perfect conditions, you will be waiting forever. Second, uncertainty is the price of admission. If you want returns, you have to accept some level of risk. But holding cash is not eliminating risk. It is just choosing a different risk, the guaranteed risk of losing purchasing power. I would rather take my chances in the market where I have the potential to win than sit in cash where I am guaranteed to lose. Now, I know some of you are still skeptical. You are thinking Kevin talks his book. He is telling me to invest because that is what he does. And you are right, I do talk my book, but I talk my book because my book actually works. I have built wealth using these exact strategies. I have made millions, even hundreds of millions, by understanding that cash is a depreciating asset and real assets are what build fortunes. If you want different results, you need to do things differently. If you want to build wealth, you need to stop hoarding cash and start investing in assets that generate income and appreciate in value. Here is my final challenge to you. I want you to commit right now to taking action, not thinking about it, not researching it for another 6 months, but actually doing it. Take 10% of your cash, just 10%, and put it to work this week. Buy some dividend stocks, buy a bond fund, invest in a REIT. Just do something. Get off the sidelines. Once you do that, once you see that money starting to work for you, once you see dividends hitting your account or your portfolio value increasing, you will wonder why you waited so long. You will kick yourself for all the time you wasted sitting in cash. And listen, I need you to do something else for me. If this video has opened your eyes, if you are realizing that you have been making a mistake with your cash, I need you to hit that like button right now. I need you to subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And I need you to drop a comment below telling me what you are going to do differently. Are you going to buy dividend stocks? Are you going to invest in bonds? Are you looking at REITs? Tell me your plan, because when you write it down, when you put it out there publicly, you are more likely to follow through. That is simply human nature. This channel exists to give you the real talk that nobody else will give you. I am not here to sugarcoat things or make you feel good about bad decisions. I am here to tell you the truth, even when it is uncomfortable. And the truth is, if you are sitting on a pile of cash right now, you are making a massive mistake. You are choosing to lose money. But the good news is you can fix it today. You can turn this around and start building real wealth. The tools are available. The strategies work. All you need to do is take action. So stop making excuses. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Get your money working for you. Your future self will thank you. Now go out there and make it happen.